Attention listeners, this podcast is rated R. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to episode 6 of the Lit Talkers podcast. We are talking about a novella and book icks today. I'm Jennifer.
I'm Cassie.
I'm Holly.
I'm Tara.
So the novella we read was called Four Leaf.
The
Four Leaf. Oh my gosh, guys. By Lee Jacqout? I don't know. It's French.
Spell it.
Jacquout.
I'm trying to bring it
Jacqout?
up big enough.
That's what I guessed.
That's Lee Jacqout.
So it is less than 130 pages. And it is just a quick, spicy...
It's not even 130 pages. Like,
Is it?
there's a lot of
Kindle
about
says
the
it's like
author and stuff on
106 or
it.
Yeah.
something.
It was like 96 pages, I think, for the story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or what little story we got, so...
So it follows Samantha, book ick. I'll mention that later. And
And why is it a book ick?
Adrian. We'll talk about it when we
Okay.
get there.
Okay.
And Adrian, who are childhood friends.
To lovers.
Yep, woohoo, guys.
So, what did everyone rate the book? Let's start off with that. Let's go Cass and then Pat over.
I haven't finished it yet, but it'll be a 2.
Oh my god. It's only 130 pages and you haven't finished it?
I gave her a rundown when I got here this
Yeah, I
afternoon.
mean, books
Okay,
like this
first
you
of all-
don't need...
I'm like 10 pages from the end, so it's really not. But I've had a busy day and I procrastinated. I have ADHD. Give me a break.
So, I rated it 3 stars.
I gave it a 4. I thought it was super really cute.
I gave it a 3 as well. So
Yeah.
I thought it was average. It wasn't good and it wasn't bad.
Yeah, it was...
It was like,
It may have even been like a 2.5 to 3, like a 2.75.
It's like
That's
the
what we're gonna-
I
epitome
just
of
love
the
all things Irish and
I knew that you'd
and
be
St.
biased.
Patty's
Yeah.
Day, so maybe it's just
This was
like
Tara's
all
pick.
of the little plans in there. I hadn't heard much about it prior to picking it, but I don't know. I thought it was like a fun, and it was kind of like a little bit of a palate cleanser for me. Just something quick and kind of like more realistic, get you out of fantasy for a minute, and just kind of something fun. So
It wasn't horrible. There were a couple, and I think I was talking to Holly about this earlier. There were a couple like places where the sentences, I kind of had to reread them because I was like, why was that worded that way?
I don't
and
know
it
if
kept pulling me out.
So I realized, and I don't know if maybe this is it. I don't think the author's first language is English.
And that would make a lot of sense.
I didn't notice, honestly. And I feel like I
did.
feel like I noticed these things in a book, but also that's not what I came here for. I came here for one thing and one thing only.
But
Well,
when
you
it-
got it.
I sure did.
Pulls you out. That's what I struggle with. Like, I don't mind
can-
it if it's one little thing that I don't
I admit
notice.
that.
But
I think you should tell.
kept-
I think you should tell our listeners what you majored in.
Minored.
Minored. Sorry,
I have a minor in English,
that might be why.
but I still talk
She's
like a
so
redneck.
smart.
So, I mean, I minored in English because I had the credits to minor in English because I kept taking English classes because I enjoyed being forced to read random ass books. But it was not necessarily like intentional. I legit went into my advisor's office one day and she's like, "You're 2 credits away from a minor in English." And I said, "Bet, let's do it." So, my regular degree is business communications. It's nothing crazy, nothing special, nothing like rocket science-y. I don't have some crazy STEM degree or anything with a minor in English. I just minored in English because
I'm
it was
just saying, I
convenient.
think that could play a part in why you
Yes.
thought it was so choppy.
Yes.
Because
I noticed
mean,
those things. I've literally gone to school and taken classes where we're forced to notice those things. And so yeah, and honestly, if I'd have listened to it, like if it was an audiobook or something, I might not have noticed it as much.
That'd be a really short audio.
It would. But just, if it was in a different format or something, I might not have noticed it as much. And if the author's first language isn't English, then that
I don't
makes
know
perfect
that.
sense.
So fake news
maybe
if
we
it's
need
not.
to find out.
We followed 2 childhood friends to lovers. Their parents bought a hotel together, and they grew up within this hotel called the Four Leaf.
Yes.
And it is cat and mouse.
I mean, she currently lives in Texas, but it does not say where she's from.
Oh, cool. It's
My
cat.
native language is Texas.
So, plot wise, it is a cat and mouse plot.
yes.
And it is childhood friends to lovers. It has LGBTQ plus rep. It takes like maybe 2 hours to read.
Yeah, it
I mean,
does
it
not
wasn't-
take
Yeah, it was a
long.
very easy read.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Goodreads was like an hour and a half.
It has really actually a decent rating on Goodreads. Over 18,000 people have read it, and it stands at a 3.71.
Yeah, it was okay.
It
I
wasn't
think
bad.
for what it is. So like I've read a few kind of like spicy novellas that are supposed to be like, you know, what they are. And this one I actually kind of enjoyed. At first I was kind of bored because I thought that there was too much story in the beginning.
Yeah.
You thought it
Um,
wasn't smutty enough.
Yeah, like because given the information that I was told
We only
about
got
it,
2 smutty scenes.
yeah,
Yeah,
It was like
and I
60%
agree.
through.
Yeah, it was.
it builds a story. But I actually, like, at the end of it, I was like, wow, this actually was done really nicely, because I was like, the scenes that you had were impactful.
Yeah.
And you could kind of like feel that like love or connection there, and I really enjoyed that.
And
that
I
you
agree
get
with that. I think that there was a great connection between the
Mhm.
characters. Like, as much as I don't love friends to lovers, like, it's fine, but I need that like tension.
Yeah.
There still was a little bit of that tension. And so I enjoyed that. Another thing that brought me out of it, and I don't know if you'll agree or not, was the like, I felt like he was continually educating and almost over educating. Like
on why he felt like he
Yes.
needed a cat and mouse game.
Yes.
Like he was like explaining to us
the
like
primal
he was
kink,
trying
and
to
I
make
think
us okay
that-
with how he was.
And I think that if
Yeah.
your main audience is smut readers,
Mhm.
that's unnecessary. I know what a primal kink is.
Mhm.
Cat and mouse is not new, and I'm not even a huge smut reader. I've read like
Yeah.
4 of
Yeah.
them.
Oh, we're all looking at Holly. Is that is that common?
Okay, I hardly read smut.
You a fucking liar.
How many smut books have I read? Maybe 5?
You read smut though, like 400 pages of smut. The Ritual.
I read that one too.
Okay, I either read 400 pages of smut or I read 100 pages of threesomes with Santa Claus.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying?
But sometimes they're just really short. But I think I've only read like 2 spicy novellas and then The Ritual. And then
Okay.
I've just read regular ass stuff. And then this one. So yeah, compared to those, this one was okay. I hated this stupid sister. She was so annoying.
She
She
was
was
this
so
is what I
annoying.
was talking
What?
about in the last podcast.
See, I
These
don't
fucking
okay, time out.
sisters.
Why was Willow bad?
Hold on.
She's just like, oh, we know that you like each other and you've always liked each other.
But that's sisters.
It just wasn't required.
I may
and
not
like,
have
yeah, like
finished
I said,
it,
I've never wanted a sister. They're annoying as
but
hell.
you
Like
guys
guys
are
little,
being whiny
little
bitches.
flies buzzing in your ear.
She was a whiny bitch.
But
Yeah,
if
she
you
was annoying. I
Hold
feel
on,
like she was
though.
also kind of jealous.
roll back,
Did you get
just
that?
a
'Cause
hair?
I got that.
You
If
got
you
je-
had thought.
She's lesbian.
She's lesbian. Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Roll
Okay,
back for just a
LGBTQ
second.
plus
If
rep.
you were if you had a sibling,
Yes.
we'll just phrase it that way. It doesn't have to be a sister. If you had a sibling and like a best friend, and you're like sitting here
You
for
grew up
like
with him.
10,
Yeah.
15 years being like, why don't they just date already?
Why don't they
Like,
fuck?
would you
I
not
don't give
at
a shit
certain
because I don't want to
point-
be that involved in my brother's
Right.
life.
I knock you in the face.
But they
Don't
grew
talk to me.
I see.
I feel
I'm
like
the
if
same
it was
testament.
in my face, though, considering that they all have to be and see around each other at this hotel, and you clearly know that that's what's wrong all the time, like you would poke. Holly would definitely poke.
Also, she
Holly would
also
poke the
said,
bear.
Give a shit.
but also, she also says, you're dating all these prim and proper guys. You want someone who will just fuck you up. And she's like, that's your man. That's who he is. I don't feel like that's whiny. I don't feel like that's
No.
I don't feel like that was overstepping. That's definitely what a sister
Maybe
and
just
sister
a
does.
know-it-all.
But
Okay.
they work together constantly. So it's like a
Yeah.
best friend. I honestly, if you were, if any of us were single,
Yeah.
and we all liked someone, we would sit there and be like, "Aw, KISSING." Would we not? Don't say we wouldn't.
Not to a sibling. But again, we have brothers.
Right.
I agree with you,
I
Jay.
And I
Yeah.
think that it's
like
different.
we would all be like, "Oh, really?"
Just
like,
fuck him already, man. Like, that's what I would be like to you guys. I'd be like, "Fuck him, fuck him, fuck him."
Oh, wow.
So I want to point out
I
some
love the
icks.
encouragement.
And one of the ones was the sister. And it's
Thank
my
you.
sister Guffaws or whatever the
Guffaw.
what?
As she cashes out a customer, I bet it'd be awfully convenient if he could fix the leak between your legs too, huh? And it's just like never in a million years would I say that to a sibling. And I guess
There's one thing
Why?
about
We
will
poking
remember
fun.
that.
I think
If you
that
guys
would
are
be
ever
hysterical.
single,
Oh
yeah,
my
if you
God.
guys were ever single, I will remember not to say anything at all. Just like let me just wash off. Let me just put it in my
So-
brain because I will pick the fuck out of Tora. I guess.
she also
Well, I'm never gonna not be.
I know.
married,
I'm
so-
saying
You don't
no.
know that, Nathaniel.
So
Watch yourself.
I'm not saying. Okay, keep going. So, my one of my dislikes.
He's mine. Back off, Holly.
No, I'm saying. No, I'm not saying anything like that.
was it the meal? Meow. MEWL. What the fuck is that word?
Meals. Yeah, I hate that. Like, I can't.
Like, what is that?
See, I just skimmed over it because to me,
I'm so
though,
confused.
like
I don't know if we read the same book.
to me, a novella is like not supposed
It's
to
on
be
page
anything like super
78.
serious though. Like that's how I take novellas. I take these super short stories, and I'm like, you've got no time to get anything done, and you've got to build up something that's like fun and intriguing and wants me to read 100 pages. And like I said, if I can suffer through stupidness for 300 pages to get into anything decent and fun and good, then like for me, a novella that can do it in 100 pages, like you've got my vote. We're good.
So, one of my dislikes, and I have to bring this
You're
up
okay.
because it was
Is it when he compares her eyes to mud?
no, but that's icky, man.
That was a little bit. That I will say was a little bit weird.
I found that
Eyes look like shit.
I found the safe word very cringy.
Uncle.
To scream
yeah.
out "uncle" in the middle of sex.
Oh boy, it's like when we were kids.
Uncle, and then he's like, "That's a good one,
That's enough to
What?
make him out of the mood.
uncle." Like,
no, that's what I'm.
what?
Yeah, that's terrible.
I know, but what?
Yeah,
But look, it would make you never want to scream your safe word, though. You just
But then
wouldn't
it's
want
not
to.
a very
it just
good
takes
safe
me back
word.
to a very juvenile place.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
say uncle.
Okay,
like,
but here's
ugh,
the-
And that's what
Okay,
it was
so-
referencing.
I don't wanna
but-
say
see,
uncle no
that's-
more. I
that's
wanna
where
say daddy.
I was a little cringed out because uncle. If you're screaming out uncle, are you screaming out uncle because like, did your uncle touch you? Like, do you see what I'm saying?
do you not? No.
Oh, did
I
you
don't
never
know.
They
like
talked
wrestle as
about
a
it.
kid and be like, uncle? Like, it's
Okay,
just
so
like
that's
a
the thing. Like,
phrase.
if I
No.
put Cassie in a
Yeah.
headlock, if I put Cassie in a headlock and started
dying
giving
right
her a
now,
milky,
guys.
I would
Yeah,
stop
I'm
if she said
not-
uncle.
My uncles don't
Safe.
like me.
Is this a southern thing? Say uncle, because Jen's from up north.
No, we don't scream uncle. We just say please stop in our way they usually do.
Oh,
There's
no.
no safe words.
Well, see, down here,
Down here in Kentucky.
stop isn't
So
like
would
a
you
word that
guys
people
use uncle in the
respect.
bedroom?
They also don't
No.
use it.
No,
correct?
because it
No, because she likes everything he's doing.
So why talk about it and set up a safe word if you're not going to use it?
it
Like
was
that whole
safe
thing.
consent.
But that whole thing was
because-
unnecessary.
because
Nah.
it wants you to remember that they are kids that are growing into adults. Like, because
kinda-
he used
Hold
to
on,
like
but this
wrestle with
story
her.
starts. They are fully adults. I just
Okay,
wanted-
but
But
I'm
I
saying-
also find it kind of weird that they what is it called? Shit.
Foreshadow.
No, where they go in the past.
flashback.
Flashback to when they were kids and he was like 12 and he was like, "Oh yeah, grr." Like what 12-year-old is thinking, "I have a primal kink." If that's the case, I've got something to talk about with my stepdaughter because she's almost
I'm just
12.
saying.
'Cause, like that made me super uncomfortable.
We got to talk about some 12-year-old boys now.
I
Bring
don't
her
think-
over. We'll take
Oh.
care of
Yikes.
it.
Like it makes me. The only thing that like that's why I gave it a 3 because there were some parts of it that were really okay. Like the fucking was really good. The sex scene was really
Yeah.
good. And then you had something like Uncle, or you had
Yeah.
him flashback to when he was 12 and he was like, "Your scent smelled so good."
that was the other thing that
The
threw me
whole
over the top.
scent.
That
Oh,
was over the top.
baby.
That was a weird thing.
And also,
Stinky Sam.
Yes.
What the fuck?
I think
would have been like,
But did you not notice that was when she was like, "Oh, I've been severely friend zoned," and it was because that was
and
her
he meant
name.
it as a compliment, which is the
Oh.
weirdest
because he loved the
fucking
way that
thing.
she smelled. Like on a
I just kind of brushed past.
Like,
all
don't
of it,
call
though.
me horrible Holly and then expect me to know that you've liked me all these years. Stinky Sam. That's gross. That's gross, bro. You're
horrible
gross.
Holly. Wow.
I'm gonna put her in my phone as that.
Horrible Holly.
I'm about to change our group chat to Horrible Holly and the girls.
Oh my god.
I'm just
you
saying,
can
like,
change people's names.
if I were interested in Tara, I wouldn't call her like Trash Heap Tara.
Where did you fucking come up with this stuff? Wait, what's Cassie? Please tell me.
Oh, I'm just casserole.
I'm pretty sure if someone said, "Come here, casserole," I'd be like, or jelly bean, like for Jay. Come here, you jelly bean. I'm not gonna be like, I'm gonna get on my knees for you, daddy. No. I'd be like, fuck you. I'm not a fucking jelly bean.
Oh my god. Okay. I have to say something about this book. Cassie, you will really appreciate it.
It's a podcast, so go ahead and say it.
I have a couple highlights. So one is, she said, an hour later, I've managed to fix 3 loose light fixtures, 2 beeping smoke detectors, 1 crooked keyless entry, and 4 janky toilet flushers.
Ain't no way.
Call me daddy,
I
guys.
said, okay, Cassie. Literally wrote that in my notes
Ain't
because
no
Cassie
way.
is
Not
dad.
in an hour.
Yep. No. Call me daddy. I got you, babies.
And then also, she...
Not my daddy.
The only error I found was it said, as he implied, we were already past a point of return, and it's a point of no return. That was
I did reread.
Did you like any quotes in there? I have a quote that I liked. Do we have any quotes that we did?
I did. I said, so I highlighted, the man is one of those guys they made to stone back in Greece to depict the gods while also having the personality of your favorite German Shepherd. I know comparing him to both a god and a dog, but it fits. And my note
called
said,
that one out too.
my note said, God is just dog spelled backwards.
Okay.
So
I kind of find it funny that she called him, like, because you think of dog as like golden retriever, fluffy. That's what the books, have you. And he was not. He was very intense. My favorite quote was, I like that she thinks she can outrun me, that I won't score the fucking earth to find her.
mm-hmm.
I love that.
I didn't like that you called her Bambi.
Yeah.
At first,
Ick.
I feel like I did, and then it just kept going, and I was like,
There was a lot of references I did like. There was a Disney reference, which Bambi. And there was Twilight. There's a Twilight reference.
Yes.
I forget the Twilight.
I get slightly annoyed with the Twilight references.
This book is on Kindle Unlimited, just by the way.
But I wanted I can't find my highlights. I had a couple. One was about when they were talking about like dogs. And I was just sitting there like, oh, a German Shepherd.
I thought about you when I read
the one
that
that
too. I hope that makes you feel better.
About.
Yeah.
And
You thought of her, okay.
Because she's got a German
I've got a
Shepherd.
German Shepherd.
We talked about this.
Okay, yeah. So,
Cujo.
Cassie just loves me. It's fine.
I thought of you because I love you, Tara. That's
how do we think about these spicy scenes?
Okay, they were good.
Lord.
Here's the thing: the part of
has
me,
notes.
the part of me that thinks is like, I don't want to do stuff in the woods because the woods hurt me. Because I have soft and supple skin. I don't want it around tree bark or sticks or bugs or like
She's delicate.
I'm so dainty.
hold on, let
I'm
me
a
tell you
dainty
a
girl.
story.
Do you
Real
not have
quick.
sex when you go camping?
Hold
I'm
on.
in a tent. I'm in a tent
Let me tell you
on
about
an air
Holly's
mattress.
camping experiences prior to her glamping with Kimberly, okay? Because that's what she does with Kimberly. She glamps. Yes.
You glamp?
No,
I
You
would
can't
call
call
it
that
that.
fucking camping.
No,
So-
I'm in a tent.
I would
A tent.
I invited Holly camping. We went twice. One time?
The first time was great.
The first time. First time was really nice. Holly remembered to zip her tent.
Yep.
The second time we went camping, Holly and Matt did not zip.
No,
No.
it was a friend's tent.
Friend's
So
tent.
the
They were
second, let me tell the story, okay? I'm not that delicate. My brother was in Boy Scouts. I went camping a lot when I was younger.
Oh, did
So
you?
here's the thing.
Congratulations, Girl Scout.
Here's the thing.
I was a Girl Scout.
Are you gonna let me talk or
Yeah,
not?
sorry, go ahead.
Okay, shut up. So the first time we went camping with Tara, it was amazing. Yeah, because we had our tent and I zipped it up to make sure the bugs wouldn't get in there. So the second time we went camping, we got there much later than everybody else. And it was already dark. Everybody was already drinking. And this guy is like, I have this like like 3-room tent. You should just like set up there because you don't have to set yours up. It's nighttime. Like just sleep in my tent. And I was like, oh,
With him?
No. Well, he was in there, but he was in a different room.
Right, that's what,
they
that's
like
what
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were in our own room.
No, I know that. I'm saying
He
like
did not zip up the tent, Jen. So
you had bugs all over you. Stop.
yes, and that's
nope.
why I had to leave in the middle of the night.
You she left. I woke up to Holly screaming.
There were
And
spiders
before
everywhere.
I could even get out of the tent, you hear their car like flying away down the dirt road. Her and Matt were gone.
And this was
it's
like an hour and a half away.
Yes, like and it's-
3 a.m.
Yeah, it was.
Wait. Time out. You had spiders on you?
Yeah, so okay,
Like everywhere?
let me finish the story. So yeah, Matt was so drunk that he just didn't care. But I mean, I laid down and there were spiders everywhere. Like everywhere I shone my flashlight, there were spiders. They were on the ceiling. They were like, because it was kind of fallish, so they were trying to find any warmth they could. And there was one guy who was out by the fire still. And so I was like, okay, I can make it till morning. I'm just going to go out here by the fire and it'll be fine. And then I went out there and he was being crazy and I was like, okay, I got to go back in the tent. So what I did was I got a blanket because I was like, I'm not leaving. Matt's asleep. It's going to be fine. I really tried,
Did
y'all.
the spiders on Matt sleep?
Yes, and
But
he
he
just
was
did
drunk.
not care. Yeah, he did
I
not
don't
care.
think it
He
was
gone
that
to the
bad.
world.
I think most of it was the shadows
No,
coming in.
no, there were bugs, and I was going to sacrifice him to the spiders. It was fine. So I took a blanket to go sleep in my car. I said, bet I can do this. I'm just going to sleep inside. Put the blanket on me in the back seat. Spider on the blanket. I said, we're out of here. You have infiltrated my home.
Like shake it out before you got in the
They
car.
were everywhere. They were
brain.
everywhere, Cassie. Everywhere, spiders all over me. So I had to leave.
I
And
heard her screaming about spiders.
I was
and
like, Matt, we have to go.
I was like, is this really happening? And I
What?
was like, had been pretty drunk. So I was like trying to like get myself up and just be like, let me go make sure Holly's okay. And literally
Why didn't you ask anyone to get the spiders out?
Okay, it was too late. I just wanted to go. I dragged Matt's drunk ass and was like, get in the car, we're leaving. And he was like, you're being so stupid. I was like, you're stupid. Get in the car or else I'm leaving you here.
So,
Oh my God.
So I drove home like 2
wow.
hours in the middle of the night
Wow.
to sleep in my own bed free of spiders. And I don't think I'm wrong for that. I don't think I'm wrong for that.
I think that you should have double checked the drunk person to zip your tent. So there's that.
Yeah, that was my fault that I said, okay, I'll sleep in your tent. And I just was done with it. I go camping a lot. I've gone camping every year for the past 2 or 3 years. Yes, I go to like, it has like camping spots because it's next to a river and the people camping with me have an RV. But I'm still on an air mattress outside in the wilderness.
I will say I'll never not go camping without an air mattress. Like
Oh,
ever
no.
Oh
again.
yeah, I'm always
Ever.
bringing.
And the first
I'm
time
too
we went was
old.
fine, even though I got drunk, caught a frog, and gave myself pink eye. I love to catch
love
frogs
catching
when
the
I drink.
frog. Me
Now
too.
she has her own frogs to catch that won't give her pink
do.
eye.
I
So,
love it.
we have some book icks.
Yeah, I
We
guess.
have lots of outside icks. Apparently, spiders for Holly.
Well, she was just explaining why she doesn't
Yes.
enjoy the woods.
But did everyone else enjoy the sex scenes? I enjoyed them.
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed them, except when the description of why a primal kink is a primal kink took me out of the moment.
Okay.
I will
Yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that.
Like,
it was
I
kind of
didn't
like, I don't care. I
come
just
for
want you
educational
guys to like
material.
bang
I
and
did
go
like
on.
the
I came for some dick.
I
I think
did.
the ending
You
was
came
like,
here for dick, and he dicked her down, buddy.
And gave her a ring while he did it.
balls deep,
that-
baby. That was sexy. I ain't
was.
gonna lie.
That was
That
my
part-
favorite
If
part.
I
I
ever
was like,
get re-engaged, because Joe's already popped the question, all that stuff, I hope that they're ball deep.
Yeah, that was pretty romantic to be like their fingers intertwined, and while they intertwined, he slipped a ring on her finger
I thought
and
that was
asked
really
her to
good.
marry him. That was that was the best part of the
That
book.
was one of the best
great.
epilogues.
It was like
I've
the
read
last
of
like
a-
2 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was the epilogue was
was
pretty
like
good.
10.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
it was like
But anyway, so
Well,
yes.
it was in the epilogue, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yes.
it was. But the epilogue was pretty good size. It was like 10 pages.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
remember.
So
Apparently.
anyway,
Apparently not.
Smooth brain.
well, all that declares is that next engagement, if we all have one, whoever's listening, future significant other, just be balls deep.
Yep. I will surely say yes. And if not, I'll just say uncle.
Uncle, get the fuck off me. No.
Jen, that's not how it works. You're taking it too literal, honey. It's not her uncle.
I just do not understand. Uncle at the same.
Cassie looks like she's gonna disown us all.
Uncle is not a good thing.
Okay, moving on. The one who's supposed to keep us on track is currently crying.
So, the main character's name in this book is Samantha. And we'll just go.
I'm sorry.
And going into book
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We're gonna just transition right into those book icks. Main
Uncle
character's
at the same
name.
word. That's a new book ick.
Weird safe words. Book ick. Okay, moving on.
Oh, you mean to tell you the definition of book ick?
Yes.
Okay,
Jen's
perfect.
gonna educate us on some book icks.
Yes, I went to Urban Dictionary and got the book ick definition. For anyone who does not know what a book ick is, a bookish thing that is an instant turn off for you that instantly makes you not want to read / pick up the book. Like code word, uncle. That.
We need to record these earlier in the day, y'all. It is past my bedtime. Okay, so huge book ick, and it happened in this novella. No offense to the novella. The main character's name was Samantha. My daughter's name is also Samantha, and I just can't read about people being dicked down when they share the same name as my daughter. I really struggled. I struggled to disassociate names of people I know with that actual person when it comes to, like, books.
But see, that's why I had a threesome with Santa Claus, because her name was Holly.
Yeah, no, I can't.
I was
It's true
living.
your husband listens to this.
What?
I was just
Oh, no, I was giving him play-by-play. He was in his room, like, doing something. I kept coming in and be like, guess what
Probably
happened
editing
now?
our podcast.
He was probably editing the podcast, and I'm like, oh, Holly does this, Holly does that. No, he knows.
Okay.
We're open.
So,
Oh, man.
characters
like
that share
that.
names with people
No,
I
not
know
like that.
in real life. Huge book ick. Cannot do it. The other one is long chapters. Especially on Kindle, though. When I start that fucking chapter and Kindle tells me it's going to take me 35 minutes to read it, I'm done. I'm out. I have 2 books that I'm currently soft DNFing for that exact same reason. I just can't fucking do it. Like, bro,
Short chapter girly.
10,
for
15
life.
minutes for a chapter.
Yep.
I want something that I'm not going to get to it and go, okay, I have to go to sleep because I don't have 34 more minutes. I want something that I'm going to look at and go, okay, I can read another one. And then when I get to the next one, I can read another one.
So when you finish chapters, do you feel accomplished? Right?
No.
I feel
Like
with
little
chapters in
chapters.
general.
Yes.
Like that's when I stop
Absolutely.
reading. Is when I'm at the end of the chapter,
Yep.
and when I
Yeah.
have 50 pages to go in a
It's
chapter,
hard. I'll put it down because I don't have time for that. I don't have 35 minutes.
Well, then it
I
makes
have
me
15.
slumpy and it makes me not like the book.
Well, yeah, because when you get done
Yep.
with that one and you're like, oh, God, here's the next one, another 50 pages.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I
it's never
can't-
ending.
It
I
takes out
can't-
the fun in it.
I can do them better if I'm reading a physical book or it's an audio book and I'm not paying attention to it. Because, like, audiobooks, I'm not going to stop at the end of the chapter. It's time for me to get out of my car and go to work. I'm getting out of my car and going to work.
Yeah.
But when I'm reading it on Kindle, especially, just seeing that daunting amount of time.
Yeah.
And then it's like, this chapter is going to take me 35 minutes. How much fucking longer do I have to read this damn book?
Right.
I'm done. I'm out. Like, it doesn't matter how good the book is. Both the books that I'm softy and everything, I've loved and they're good, but I'm fucking done with it. I'm done. I might come back in 10 years.
Do you do other things like when you're reading Kindle though? Like your Kindle? Like
I can't.
Like does anybody like ever like interrupt you or something like that?
No,
and, like, the
because if
Kindle
I'm
stays
reading
open or
Kindle,
something?
it's because I'm in bed at night.
Okay.
They do just to point on that, they take like average time readers and do the percentage. So they're taking off of like what average out of of 200 people what the average is. So yeah, she might be a slower reader and that might be why she's so daunting or something like that.
What I was
but-
going to say is I've seen on mine, it'll tell me
the
like
time
I
will
have like an
change.
hour and
Yeah.
10 minutes left in a chapter. And I'm like, it told me I had like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But like I had to go take my dog
It does
out,
do a
or
reading
I like
guide.
got up and got something to drink,
Yeah.
and I didn't turn the page for
No.
like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, because when I'm on my Kindle, it's because I'm in bed at night, and so I'm actively reading it. Like, my kid's already asleep, I've got nothing else going on, or like, same thing at work, and I have one of those Kindle covers that automatically puts my Kindle to sleep when I close it, so it's just that fucking chapter as long as shit, and I can't do it. So the other one has more to do with physical books. I hate when a series, more so when a series isn't the same size. I don't like mixing hardback and paperback. I don't mind if the books don't match perfectly. Like, I know somebody was complaining the other day about the Cruel Prince covers because, like, Cruel Prince and Wicked King and then Queen of Nothing, kind of, I think Queen of Nothing is the oddball out on that one a little bit. It has more illustration on it than the other two have. That doesn't bother me as much as if the books were completely different sizes. If one of them was a mass market paperback and the other ones were like normal size books, that would drive me absolutely fucking crazy. If the covers are like super drastically different, we talked about this a few minutes ago, if like they quit making a set of covers. I know like Throne of Glass's covers have been changed so many times.
And they're way more expensive now.
Yes. And I can't, like, don't change it halfway through a series. If you're going to stick with it, stick with it. I know the Love Light Farms, those kind of changed, but the change was so small and insignificant. I think it pretty much was just a change from her being an indie author to her being, like, published.
Yeah.
But the books still match. Like, if you have the old versions of the books, the new ones aren't going to, like, completely throw off your set. You don't have to go buy all new books for them to match on your shelf. So, like, just don't fucking change your book covers. Like, make it part of your publishing deal that you get to keep the cover art and the person who drew the cover art until the fucking series is done. Like, you're the author. They want your shit.
Or don't change it 10
Sometimes
years
they
after.
don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I've kind of been looking into like sometimes because a lot of what I see from authors, and any are welcome to tell me I'm wrong, but that they don't really get any say
So, I
in
have
the
seen
cover or design,
Then
and
say
it's like
indie.
it's
Yeah.
a publisher and it's this or that.
Yeah.
And sometimes so like I was reading a series by one of my favorite authors. The series, the end of it, it's clearly not an end. Like, you could wrap it up there, but if you honestly tell me that's the end of your story, then this entire thing was for naught, and it's so stupid, and I'm really mad about it. But upon investigating for why there has not been a 5th book in this series for like 15 plus years, it's basically the author had already worked with a publisher for those books and what have you. And then the publisher was like, well, we don't think that the 4th one in the series sold as well, so we're not going to publish your fifth one.
Who?
And if you apparently go to self-publish, it's a lot more difficult to continue getting other work if you switch in that reverse route.
Yeah, I've seen some interesting things about like traditional publishing versus self-publishing and like the going back and forth.
Yeah.
Like, once you're picked up, like, you're picked up. That's pretty much the end of it.
I know from a KU point, there was an author, Kimberly Lenning, who published the I think it's a trilogy, the really short books of like The Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think she drew her own covers. And they got super famous. And her publisher was like, yeah, we don't like your covers, so we're going to redo your covers. And I was really disappointed in that because her covers were it went phenomenal with the book.
Dang.
And she drew her own.
That's whack.
It's crazy. So,
Any more book icks?
No, that's it for me.
Okay.
Just 3. I know you've got a whole damn list.
Well,
so.
I have some. Okay, so I misunderstood book icks. So I wrote
too.
down some that are like I will not read, but I also wrote down things that are just like annoying that if I'm reading a book I'm like ugh, but I might keep reading it. So I think one that would make me put a book down is if I can't pronounce a single name. So it's like I've had
Feyre, Rhysand.
there's been times where we have to choose a book and we have to look through a bunch of descriptions. And if I look through the description, it's like, in the time of Nye, in the fairy kingdom, where it's this name with all vowels and this
why are
name
you
with...
making this about fantasy books?
Because it's all fantasy. That does that to me. And actually, somebody commented on one of I think like my reading for the month and said that she prefers doing audio because then she knows how it's pronounced and it doesn't. When I see stuff and I just can't comprehend it in my mind, I don't want to do anything with it.
However,
so
not all audio narrators know how to pronounce
that's
things
true, but then I at least
properly.
don't have to think
Fair.
about it. I'm not trying to go every time I see her name. I'm not like, is it this or is it that? And then I keep changing it and I don't know how it's supposed to be. And it just really takes me out of a story. I don't want something I have to think about too much. I just want to be able to lose myself.
You know what? I just say it, and that's what it's going to be.
Well, I
Yeah,
can't
or you
do
can have
that.
authors that butcher it themselves.
I just can't, like, if I see a bunch of words that I have to try to make sense of in my head, I can't do it. And then another one is politics. If I read a description that's like, in the war and the time of the kingdom and it has the crown changes
She's
and
still
this-
making
And you
this
don't like
about
period
fantasy.
pieces, though, either, do
I
you?
don't know.
What does she doesn't like?
Like period pieces,
Oh,
which
you
are
don't like
usually around
historical
like
fiction
war
probably
and,
either.
and
I don't like
things
historical
that.
fiction. No, I don't. I like a lot of
Smut.
I like I like either scary stuff or
horny stuff.
or smutty stuff. So scary or smutty. Those are the two. Yeah, I say
I feel like you like more than just that. Like, I wouldn't say
it's
it's
more
like,
than just that, but
smut.
that's
It's
like the two
rom-coms you seem to kind of actually enjoy a little bit of.
Okay. I can, and then like Legends and Lattes. I did really like that, but I had to listen to it because I knew that if I didn't, and it started talking about like these fantasy things that I had to kind of make up on my own, I knew that it wouldn't be good. So I had to have somebody read it to me. But it was nice, and I really liked it. That was the first fantasy book I ever gave 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. Would read again.
Can't wait to read it.
A very good, cozy fantasy. And then another, I guess my third one that I'm not going to read, sorry to certain people, but it's a mafia romance. I do not dig the mafia romance. I've tried to read a couple of them. It just doesn't, it's not my...
Why? Like, just...
I don't like... I don't know. I've just never been into mafia stuff.
I just was
And like
wondering.
the type of guy who I can picture as like a mafia guy is not somebody who I'm into.
like
that's
thinking
just-
of The Godfather.
Right. It's not.
got
Mafia
you.
movies are okay, but it's not something I'd ever like go out of my way to watch. I've never been into like just a dominant mafia. Like I think the lifestyle is really like anytime I watch a mafia movie, I'm just like, you're so dumb for getting involved in the mafia because you're either gonna you're gonna be dead one day. Somebody's gonna fucking kill you, and so you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. I don't know. It just all seems very
It's fair.
generic.
Yeah.
I feel like it's all the same thing over and over. There's nothing that I'm going to read in a mafia story that is going to wow me. Just for me. And just one thing that I'm not going to put the book or the audiobook down for this, but I hate a terrible audio narrator. That can really break a book for me.
I will DNF.
Final Girl Support Group was really tough
By
because
The book wasn't good either.
Was
What
it
was
Grady
it, Grady
Hendrix?
Hendrix?
Yes. And so, yeah, I can't tell if the book was bad or if the audiobook was bad, but
The book was
the
bad.
girl who
I read
narrated the book she was from like a horror movie. She was an older horror movie icon, but she didn't have experience in reading audiobooks. And her cadence was off. Her voices were wrong. Like there was one person who wasn't Southern, who she was making Southern, even though it told you they were from like this specific area. It was just kind of a mess, and it really took me out of it. Court of Sugar and Spice was kind of like that. So it's not going to necessarily make me put down the book or stop listening to it, but it can definitely put a damper on the experience, for sure. Okay. That's me.
So I kind of have one that follows along with yours.
Okay.
In a sense of the audio books being bad. I don't like when somebody is like when you're telling me that your character is like 22 years old
And you mean
and you
old
have
ass
like
woman?
a 60, 50s year old person. Like your character is just not that mature. And it's not their fault in a sense because I know that it's probably hard to find people that sound that age and are experienced enough to even, read an audiobook for a long time. But it really takes me away from the story because I'm constantly like, oh, this person should be much more mature. They sound so mature. They sound so this or that.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. And I don't like when you have dual point of views, but they don't use each other for like the dialogue. in the opposite
Yes.
one.
Yes. So if it's the girl's chapter and the guy's talking, when the girl does his voice instead of the guy
see, that
stepping
doesn't
in.
bother me.
I wish they
Oh.
would. I know that probably complicates things, but I feel like it was like that in Done and Dusted,
But
right?
see,
Where I'm like, they
it
could
was.
have used his voice
I
and
think
her
they don't
voice, vice
call it
versa.
I don't think it's considered regular audiobook if they do it. I think it's dramatized at that point because
That's fair.
you're
See,
basically dramatizing the scene.
What was
Yeah,
it though?
that's
That
fair.
makes
I
sense.
did.
Yeah,
It
that's
does
fair.
make sense.
So it was a really like fun little book that I listened to, and I honestly like I don't think if I had read it I would have loved it as much, but I gave it a really high rating because I really enjoyed it. It's one of the Duskwalker Brides series or whatever. I listened to the audiobook, and the narration was like for most of it was from a girl's perspective, and the narrator was doing that. But from the very first time that the Duskwalker was introduced, it had that guy's voice.
I love full cast audio.
And
Yeah.
they were the only two though. And they just traded off chapters. But then again, in his chapters, when she would speak, it would be her speaking. And it just, I don't know. I feel like it just brings the story to a better
Pleasurable
place.
listening experience.
Yeah. Especially if you don't like one of the narrators kind of to begin with.
I also don't like the narrators do a fake accent.
Yeah, they really
Or they
need-
get someone who maybe is an American woman and they put in British or an English narrator. Like that.
I also, and we talked about this before. Well, I told you about it before we read it. The Honeymoon Crashers. Christina Lauren, the main male character was described as basically this blonde surfer boy. And he was narrated by Harry Shum Jr., who's Asian.
Yeah.
And that bugged the crap out of me because I knew
See,
the audio
I
narrator.
couldn't tell.
And
But
so,
I see
yeah,
what you're
because I
saying.
knew who he was.
Yeah, from Glee.
And because I knew who he was, I couldn't disassociate what he looked like.
Okay.
Played Mike.
What's his
off of
face?
Glee.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
And so because I knew him and I knew that that was the narrator and I knew what he looked like, I had
you off.
trouble disassociating him from this blonde surfer boy because he's not. And so, I mean, if you're using some random audio narrator, that's perfectly fine. But I think if you're using a star-studded, like the one that you just read, The Stand-In, is Philippa Sue. And she fits that character. She's
Yeah.
Asian.
Hamilton.
And so she works for that character because she is Asian. And if
See,
you're
I didn't
going,
like the narration in the stand-in.
well, and that's fine.
Yeah,
but if
I
you're
just didn't
going
like-
to use
I felt like it was very stiff.
a narrator who's more well known, they need to match their character.
Yeah.
And
Fair.
that
I think, though,
bothers
at
me
the
a
same
little bit.
time, when you have people who play puppets, they don't usually play what the puppet looks like.
And that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, I'm saying that's fair
Yeah.
both ways.
But
It's-
you also usually use random people. You know what I mean? Like you don't
Yeah.
necessarily have somebody who's
I
like
agree.
you
I'm not
know,
disagreeing. I'm just
yeah.
saying that you could
But
play
it's like
both
using a
sides.
star-studded cast and not casting people who represent your characters.
Yeah, it's good
You know.
representation.
See, that doesn't
Yeah.
really bug me though. Like I can get over people not being exactly the way that they're described unless it somehow physically like hinders the character in the book
Yeah.
to not be
That's
that.
fair.
Like if a big part of a story is the fact that somebody has green eyes because they're going to have, you know, emerald diamonds shooting out of them later. And then you cast a character with, you know, blue or brown eyes. I'm going to be really mad at that.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, well, you're not going to get this whole thing
Yeah.
or you're going to have to change it just because you didn't cast the right thing or make them wear contacts.
That's fair.
Which, you know,
Fair.
whatever.
Yeah.
But aside from stuff like that, like, I don't really care because the people that I come up with in my head
Yeah.
and how they look, sometimes it's exactly what's described, but sometimes before a character is like fully described physically,
You have somebody else.
I get this like idea, depending on the way that it's written, like if it's from somebody else's perspective
Yeah.
of what I think that person
Well, and
is now like
maybe-
going to or what have
Maybe
you.
that's a me thing because it goes back to that degree again of like spending so much time building characters and like I look for those things and I try to build like I don't know, I'm
I
crazy.
build the character that I want to read about.
Yeah. I want to know who they're
As far as
talking
like
about.
looks in my head,
Yeah.
like when they're describing somebody.
Do you see like real people too? Or do you just see like a random? Because I know Holly doesn't see real people.
I do not.
So I feel like
If you feel like a character matches somebody IRL, like one of the favorite questions to ask is who would you cast as the main character? Do you see like famous people?
no.
When you
No.
That's what I'm asking.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't see famous people at all. So people to me, like, they either, like 90% of the people that I see in my head, if they're of a human, we'll say that because I read a lot of fantasy and you get
If
a
they're
lot
not
of
fae
you get a lot of
or
like
tentacle
non-human,
monsters.
you know,
Yeah.
things. And
Mind
some of
flayers.
those things. Well, some of those things that are unrealistic, I've pulled in my head from like different types of movies or
Yeah,
what have you
yeah.
that I've seen that kind of make
Alien
a sound
versus
representation
Predator.
of it. But as far as like for
I don't
like
think that's where
human
you were going
faces,
with that, but okay.
even if they're like fae-like with, you know,
Mhm.
elven ears, I can pop ears onto anybody. It's fine. But like for me, there's like, I think a range of like 4 character faces that I see in like
Okay.
every book that I read.
Okay.
Like, and it's, you know, they might have different colored hair,
Yeah.
but their general face or body shape, unless otherwise explicitly like the opposite, is typically like described. And so they all kind of look alike to me.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll just take a couple of the popular ones right now, like Xaden and Rhysand, like in my head,
They're the same.
they look the same.
Yeah, I can feel that.
They look
Fair.
the same.
No, yeah.
Main character girls are a little bit different because of their hair, but they're kind of similar too.
Short.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
But like that's just what it is. Like a lot of people
Tiny
just have like, I have like 4 women characters that like pop into my head, and I have like 4 men, and like everything is rotated between these
They're
faces.
interchangeable. That's fair.
Cool. I love that for you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's my turn.
Maybe that's why I get bored with stories. I just
No,
see
I
the same
think
people all
how
the time.
how I like think of the way you're describing it is when you go on Sims and they give you that
Yeah.
generic.
blank
Yeah.
character,
Yeah.
and then you just build it very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Hair, build,
Yeah.
color of skin,
Yeah.
and then you're like ship it off to the next one.
Yeah.
Just a generic piece to test.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, if they have like tattoos, or if they're like described as a particular
just
like
slap
color
that
hair,
onto
color
one of
eyes,
the-
yeah, like I'll
Yeah.
interchange that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
But just
That's-
like
it's just you have that blank
structure.
canvas,
Exactly.
and then
I'm gonna
you
start
make
making
it.
Sims characters
Yes.
for all the guys I read
I
about.
love that. I think that's a
I
great
used to do
idea.
those,
that
like,
would be an
paper dolls all the
amazing
time.
idea.
Yeah.
I think that's a
If
great
y'all
idea.
randomly get a
Yeah.
TikTok sometime in the future of just me making random male characters, that's why.
Why isn't somebody somebody should like do like a TikTok account of that?
Interesting. Have you ever seen the TikTok account where she like tries to make 100 babies within like a day or whatever with
no.
Sims?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
my
and
God.
then she ends up Anyway,
Okay, off topic.
do you have any more icks? Nope. Okay. So we really talked about a lot of my icks. I say the one big ick that I think everyone in my personal life know, I will not pick up a romance if it is over 400 pages. I don't care if it's the best fucking romance out there and it has 5 stars with 100,000 people reading it. If it is 399 pages, I am not going to read it.
So you're not reading The Ritual?
I'm not reading The Ritual.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Good.
I read the fine print and stuff, and that's where I think my tolerance is I read the fine print by Lauren Asher, and those books are over 400 pages.
And
I
you
loved
you weren't
them.
okay with that?
I loved them, but none of them got 5 stars.
Yeah, I feel like I can't remember whether.
But I
gave
read
The
them on my
Ritual
Kindle,
4 or
so I didn't really realize the size of them. And when I was
Yep.
doing that on my Kindle, I didn't have really Goodreads. I didn't have Goodreads until about a year ago. So I didn't know the length of them. But like Lucy Score, she's known for these big ass 500-600 page novel, like fantasy or not fantasy, romance. And I'm like, what do you have to tell me in 600 pages
Yeah.
of a romance? Like, no.
See, I didn't realize The Ritual was as long as it was. I
No,
feel like I
but that's
just downloaded it and was like,
We also read it so fast.
Yeah.
We
did.
couldn't
And
even
it
keep
was
to a
600
schedule.
pages or something.
Yeah,
I
it
just
was
find
a
that
lot.
Something like
super
that.
like I find it very redundant, and that's where you get a lot of filler.
Yeah.
So I don't and I will not read any romance that is over 400 pages. I will look at, and Christina knows this because we go book shopping a lot. I will even ask her how many pages I have. She's like, you won't read it because it's like 402. And I was like, nope, I won't. I don't care.
But what if it's like 45 pages of bullshit that you don't need?
Then no.
No, but I'm saying like 45 pages of like author shit or like, you know,
No,
praise
she
for the
goes
book
from
or-
the before
Oh,
the
okay. I gotcha.
acknowledgements.
Okay.
Okay.
That's how I do it. I
Okay.
don't go like straight from the back.
Gotcha.
It has to be 400 pages of pure story. Now, if it's mixed media and I have like 10 pages of text messages,
Yeah,
I count that like away from the actual story.
that's fair.
And we already talked about the long chapters, which is a big one. I hate the non-removable stickers.
Yep. We're sitting here in the room and we've got some random books
yeah.
strewn about, and there's probably like 6 or 7 of them that have non-fucking removable stickers on them.
I hate them. I hate the Walmart book club ones you can't remove. I will like sought out like Goodwill covers. I will go to every Goodwill I can trying to find a book that does not have the fake stickers. I don't display my books either, so it's kind of stupid, but I just don't like them. Now, do I have some that I have them? Yeah, of course. Like, it's not like the biggest. It's just one that I'm like, oh, fuck.
Do better.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of them are like silly. Like we were talking about one a minute ago, and it's a Reese's Book Club sticker for a different
book by the same author.
by the same author. And it's like, I didn't need to know that.
Yeah,
if I
or-
cared about Reese's Book Club, I'd go read that book.
And then we were talking about one that said like, you know, the TikTok sensation or something. And
Yeah,
it mentioned
Yes.
Yaros did.
It's like TikTok
Now
isn't
a
going to be
major
around
motion
forever.
Picture.
Yeah,
Or-
like who cares?
Who cares?
Who
Like,
cares?
like-
who gives a shit?
Yeah,
I mean,
who
it's
cares?
stupid. And then
Fuck
my
you.
last one is when they revamp book covers. Say you have a beautiful, beautiful book cover, and then a movie comes out and they slap the fucking authors on the front. It pisses me off. Twilight's a really good example. I don't like
I agree
seeing
with that.
Kristen Stewart on a fucking book
I don't like
Yeah.
seeing her on anything.
or Robert Pattinson. I don't care. I don't like it. I think it's so cringy.
sucks.
Daisy Jones and the Six has a beautiful cover by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's this model, I think, and she's on the front cover. And then when they came out with the Amazon Prime
Yep.
TV series, they slapped those freaking people on the cover, and I was like, I wouldn't read it. I wouldn't. It doesn't even look appealing to me.
Yeah.
They did it with Lord of the Rings too.
They did,
Yeah.
but you can also
They do
buy
it
them.
with
So what
everything.
I find though is when they start doing movies, that's all they push out.
Yep.
So, but with Lord of the Rings, there's so many different editions,
And
Yes.
versions.
And
that
so
you
many
can
different- you can at least get a
matching
different
set.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like with Twilight now, you can find them at any Goodwill. Twilight.
They do have the new cover or the original covers of the Twilight saga still in print.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because I
See,
was looking at the Midnight Sun because I never read it, and I'm like, oh, I like that character so much better. And it was like all, and they made that one with the like original type of covering,
Yeah.
and so all of the coverings were like that original apple and chess pieces and
I just feel like they're
whatever it
wasting
was.
money. You're killing all these trees and you're doing all this paper
Mm-hmm.
for ugly ass people on the front
I'd
cover.
be interested to know what the waste is
Ooh,
in
I
the
would
book
love to know
printing
that.
industry.
Well, see,
Let's do some research.
well, also though, look at Goodwill. Goodwill
Yeah.
opened up 4 Goodwill bookstores in the last year because they are getting so much intake
trip.
of books.
Wait, there's Goodwill bookstores.
I had
There
no
are.
idea.
Yeah.
I didn't know this either.
My sister works for Goodwill.
Oh, hey.
She actually brought it to my attention, and I looked it up, and it's a big TikTok thing.
Yeah, it's all
a
over
huge
TikTok.
The people going into
And
Goodwill
these stores are
But
huge.
The reason they did it is because they had so much, like much that people
Yeah.
would donate and
Right.
stuff, and they were like, "What do we do? Well, we have readers. Let's
Yeah.
open up bookstores."
Yeah.
And these books, some of them go for more than the 99 cents that we see maybe at
Yeah.
our local good store.
But they're still cheaper
Goodwill.
than you would buy them new.
Like
or
half
things
price
like
books.
that.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, it's kind of like
Yeah.
half price.
but they
book,
don't
sounds
take they don't pay you for the books. They just take them because
Right.
Yeah.
Goodwill.
So I think that is it for episode 6 of the podcast. I want to make sure that you guys join us in 2 weeks where we're going to read Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone and discuss it for some fun little April Fool's jokes. That one's by Benjamin Stevenson, but we hope to see you back in 2 weeks.
And don't forget to say uncle.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.